Rajasthan District Court exam exercise 34 at the speed of 100 words per minute. Be ready. Start. If democracy means anything, it must mean this: when citizens cast their votes for the people who will represent them in parliament, they have the right to do so on the basis of full and complete information. And there is no piece of information more important than the knowledge of who funds political parties across domestic societies, and through time it has been proven beyond doubt that money is the most effective way of buying policy, of engaging in regulatory capture, and of skewing the playing field in one's own favor. Stop para. It is equally important that if a democracy is to thrive, the role of money in the influencing politics ought to be limited. In many advanced countries, for example, elections are funded publicly and principles of parity ensure that there is not too great a resource gap between the ruling party and the opposition. The purpose of this is to guarantee a somewhat level playing field so that elections are a battle of ideas and not vastly unequal contests where one side's superior resources enable it to overwhelm the other. For this reason, in most countries where elections are not publicly funded, there are caps or limits on financial contributions to political parties. The electoral bonds scheme, however, removes all pre existing limits on political donations and effectively allows well resourced corporations to buy politicians by paying immense sums of money. This defeats the entire purpose of democracy, which, as B.R. Ambedkar memorably pointed out, was not just to guarantee one person, one vote, but one vote, one value. Stop para. However, not only do electoral bonds violate basic democratic principles by allowing limitless and anonymous donations to political parties, they do so asymmetrically since the donations are routed through the State Bank of India. It is possible for the government to find out who is donating to which party, but not for the political opposition to know. This in turn means that every donor is aware that the central government can trace their donations back to them. Given India's long standing misuse of investigative agencies by whichever government occupies power at the center, this becomes a very effective way to squeeze donations to rival political parties while filing the coffers of the incumbent ruling party. Statistics bear this out. While we do not know who has donated to whom, we do know that a vast majority of the immensely vast sums donated through multiple electoral cycles over the last 3 years have gone to the ruling party. Stop para. The government has attempted to justify the electoral bonds scheme by arguing that its purpose is to prevent the flow of black money into elections. The journalist Nitin Sethi has already debunked this rationale in a detailed 10-part investigative report, which has also highlighted reservations within the government as well as by the Election Commission of India to the electoral bonds scheme. That apart this justification falls apart under the most basic scrutiny. It is entirely unclear what preventing black money has to do with donor anonymity, making donations limitless, and leaving citizens in the dark. Indeed, as the electoral bonds scheme allows even foreign donations to political parties, which can often be made through shell companies. The prospects of institutional corruption, including by foreign sources, increases with the electoral bonds scheme instead of decreasing. Stop para. It is important to be clear that the objections to the electoral bonds scheme highlighted above are not objections rooted in political morality or in public policy. They are constitutional objections. The right to know has long been enshrined as a part of the right to freedom of expression. Stop. Hope you like the dictation. A legal dictation on the same issue is available in exercise 19 of series B. You can take it from legal playlist.